Today we're doing a 7 round mock draft for the Detroit Lions. Quickly looking at, I went over their depth chart again. Looking at what we need to attack, probably corners a position I want to attack with. Carlton Davis is on a 1 year deal. Cam Sutton's out the door for obvious reasons, and I think they just use more depth. Emmanuel Mosley's still there, but so more depth at corners definitely one we want to target. I want to target interior O-line at some point. I mean, Frank Ragnow's he's a stud when he plays, but he's being held together by strings at this point. So you definitely want to get some depth there. Depth at receiver is important. And then I think some edge depth will be something that we want to attack too. It's not like a pressing need, but Davenport's only on a 1 year deal, so I think you could get some more edge help. So let's go. With that being said, let's go right into looking at who's at the board. The first name that's sticking out is Cooper DeJean from Iowa. I said corners, one of the probably bigger needs. I think that they still need to attack. Dude like Cooper DeJean with great athleticism. We know he can play outside. Worst case scenario, he can slide around. They don't really need safety, so it's not like a team that can maybe play him at safety. But I personally think he can play outside corner. I don't really get the whole team see him as more of a safety. I think he's a for sure outside corner. So Cooper DeJean's probably where I'm going to be leaning with this first pick. I went receiver in my big first round mock draft I did with Ladd McConkey, so like a guy like Adonai Mitchell's there. So I wouldn't be shocked if they go after a receiver like that. If they really fall in love with like Adonai Mitchell we saw last year, they'll take dudes they fall in love with no matter what the rest of the people think about it. We saw with Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell. So like if they love a dude, they'll take him. So like if they love an Adonai Mitchell or something, the one dude I would be interested to see that I'm not going to take here but I could see them really loving and making is Zach Frazier, especially if they're really concerned about Frank Ragnow's health. I could see Zach Frazier being a dude that they take a little earlier than people might not think he's a first rounder, but I think if a team like the Lions really love this dude, he fits in their culture there, and they think they have worries about Frank Ragnow, I could see Zach Frazier being the pick. But for me, I'm gonna go Cooper DeJean. I think Johnny Newton's the best player available, but he's right up there with Johnny Newton as best player available. Plus the position need, I think it just fits perfectly. Now we're back up at 61. Couple names at receivers staring me in the face early. Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk. Couple dudes that, like I said, I still think they need more receiver. Like Jameson Williams, a good role player. I mean, obviously Amon-Ra, he is a stud, but he's mostly your slots. Like you want outside. And I just think they need more depth. Like they got all right guys there now, but like you can always take a shot in the draft with a dude. So Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk, dudes like Marshawn Nealon. Like I said, I think they could use D-line help in depth. I don't think they need a starter at D-line, but Marshawn Nealon's an incredible athlete, and I think a dude that I think would fit in well with them. Looking at the rest available, I think really right now it's between those three for me. It's between Polk, Nealon, and Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman interests me because of his size. Is something they really don't have on the team right now. They don't have a dude with his size, but then Jalen Polk is more of a dude that maybe fit better with Jared Goff in their offense and that play action offense. Polk's a dude who knows how to get open. I'm gonna lean Jalen Polk here. I'm gonna take Jalen Polk for them for the Lions, but and the idea behind that was take him because another dude I really like in the draft class, who I'm going to go with now, is Braylon Trice. I don't know how Braylon Trice can be a third rounder, man. I think this dude's, like, if he gets to the third, he's going to be a steal. He's a hell of a player out of Washington. A little bit of a bigger dude, but, like, I mean, all the stats back it up, like his pressures and stuff. And he balled. Like, if you watch that Texas playoff game, I mean, even in the Michigan game, Braylon Trice was taking over, man. He did his part in those playoff games to try and get Washington there. He's a stud. He like, kind of reminds me of Keon White, not the same play style, but that, like bigger defensive end that, he's not this crazy athlete, but he just knows how to play the position. Really solid with his hands, quick get off. So we're going to go ahead and get him. We've already got a lot of the positions I was kind of hoping to fill, and now we can just kind of look at the kind of the best players available, take some high upside dudes. They don't have a lot of mid-round picks. You saw the second, third, and now they don't pick till 164 again in the end of the fifth. So they're going to have to be good with their late round picks. And looking at who's available, don't think they really need a tight end. They could use some more depth. I mean, you got Laporta and Brock Wright right now, so Holker I like, but don't know if they really need it. I like Zach Zinter here as I was talking about, like interior depth. They signed Kevin Zeitler from the Ravens this year, but I still think they could use some more depth. Just like they've had injuries on the interior line. You always need, like, people looking at like, oh, but our 5 offensive linemen are good, but you need like you need 7 to 8 good offensive linemen in the league, because that's just a position that just how it's played, so many ankles get rolled up on and just stuff like that, that you need like 7 or 8 dudes minimum on your good guys that you're comfortable playing on the offensive line. So it's never one of those positions where like, but we already have a guard. It's like, no, you just need more depth. I think that's just good value. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take Zach Zinter out of Michigan. Seems like a dude that Dan Campbell would probably like. Those Michigan boys are always really just solid players on the O line. So now we got 2 picks in a row here, not directly in a row, but 201 and 205. We got 3 more picks to finish out the draft total. Looking at everyone who's available. If they want to double up on my O lineman, Tanner Bortolini is a dude I really like. He's a great athlete out of Wisconsin. He'd be your center kind of guy. But I don't know if that's who I necessarily want to go with here. I think here, I'm just going to kind of play the board. I was looking around. I'm going to go with Johnny Dixon here, cornerback from Penn State. He's a solid athlete. He's a kind of like feisty dude I think could fit what Dan Campbell and they like over there. So just go ahead and take probably best player at a position they need available. And then when we fall down here, I'm going to attack interior O-line again. And I'm going to take my guy, Tanner Bortolini. Like I really like this guy to Wisconsin as just a late round center. He's a super good athlete and a dude that I think has a high upside. And like I said, with Frank Ragnow, with his injury history, you definitely want more bodies. So we're going to go ahead and get him. And now we got one more pick in the draft. We'll go ahead and take with our last pick in the draft, we'll go ahead and just take a fun high upside dude. And if I'm looking at high upside dudes still left that I like, I'm going to go to either Trevin Wallace, linebacker, or we get another edge and Khalid Duke. I'm going to go Trevin Wallace. We'll go ahead and just add some more bodies to that linebacker room. Trevin Wallace, incredible athlete out of Kentucky. Tested really well. Former track guy coming out of high school. Lots of good things to like about him. So this is my Detroit Lions 7-round mock draft. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Make sure you like if you enjoyed and subscribe. Check out my other content if you want.